Hakadosh Boker Or Bekiim Halacha 3 day 85, page 186. Okay, we are on Siman Yutet. We're starting a new Siman. This is Halacha Aleph. Okay, Tzitzit is Chovat Gavra, Velo Chovat Mana. It's Chova on the Gavra, not Chovat Mana. Shekol Zman Shenu Lovesh Atali Patur Mitzitzit. Meaning like this. Imagine right now I have a four-corner garment. I don't have to put a tzitzit on it if I'm never going to wear it. The chova is if you're going to wear it. If you're never going to wear it, you don't have to put on tzitzit. And therefore, you're not going to make a bracha al asiyat tzitzit. She'en mitzvah because there's no mitzvah. There's only the wearing of the mitzvah, not the actual putting it on. So therefore, you're not going to make a bracha on the actual making of the tzitzit because the making of the tzitzit is not the mitzvah. The wearing it is going to be the mitzvah. So let's see 246 says in the footnote, this is the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. Although the Torah says v'asulahem tzitzit, the mitzvah is defined by another one when it says gedrim ta'aseh lecha. You have to make for yourself. Right? Again, when it's covering your body. Right? So he says this is likewise the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. Okay? That he comes and he says, right? He says, and this is like what there's the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. So Mishabra explains that one fulfills the mitzvah only when wearing the garment with the tzitzit. Fine. What about tzitzit in contrast to a mezuzah? The Magen Avraham asks why the rules for tzitzit are different than those for a mezuzah. We say the bracha of the mezuzah when we fix it to the doorpost, not when we move into the home. If so, we should likewise say the bracha on the tzitzit to a four-corner garment, even without actually putting it on. Meaning, just like a mezuzah, when you're putting it on, that's when you're coming. So Yad Aaron pointed out that it's going to be flawed, right? The comparison to the two mitzvot of mezuzah and tzitzit. The act of attaching the tzitzit to the garment is compared to writing the mezuzah. When you're writing the mezuzah, you're not going to make a bracha. When you're fixing it to the doorpost, that's when you're putting on the clothing. Therefore, the proper time to make the bracha is when you're putting on the clothing, just like when you put it on the doorpost. That Rav Chida disagreed with this. He says the mitzvah mezuzah is that a resident of a home must have the mezuzot on the doors. The act of entering the home is comparable to putting on the garment. Therefore, just like when you make a bracha when putting on the garment, we should make a bracha when you're moving into the home, not when you're fixing the mezuzot. The Magen Abraham's question then is valid. So to answer this question, the Rav Chida explained that the mitzvah of tzitzit, the person actually actively fulfills the mitzvah when he wears it. It only makes sense to make the bracha when you're actually putting it on. Right? He says when a person takes a positive action to fulfill the mitzvah, regarding the mitzvah and mezuzah, he says the second that you put it on the door, right, it's nothing at all for the sake of the mitzvah. It makes no sense to make the bracha then. Right? It's only when you're moving into the house, and therefore, since that has nothing to do with it, so he comes and he says that's when you're going to do it with the mezuzah in itself. Okay, and also the response of Rabbi Kiva. Okay? Fine. Halacha bet. Asa talit litzorah tachlichim. What happens if a person made a talit for tachlichim, for shrouds? Af al pi shelifamim lovesh talit b'chayav, even though he's going to put it on during his lifetime, it's patur min l'til lo tzitzit. Right? Why? Because it's supposed to be lachar mita. V'tov lachim la'asol bo tzitzit lo yivarech alav. Okay, so put on the tzitzit, but just don't make a bracha. 248. This is the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. The Mishabra explained that the reason is because of the rosh. Just like the rosh says a nighttime garment is exempt. Tizkor, according to Shitat rosh, big suit laila is patur mitzitzit because it's miuchad laila. So too a ksut, which is going to be for after death, is patur. According to the Rambam, however, you're going to be chayav. Therefore, you should attach the tzitzit without a bracha. Right? Just like we said, that we're going like the stringencies of both the Rambam and the Rosh. The Nimukei Yosef, which is the source of this halacha, appears to be following the opinion of the Rosh. Maran wrote down in Bet Yosef, however, that the Rambam agreed that a shroud was exempt even if worn by a living person. This is because the Torah commands us to attach tzitzit to your garment, meaning the garment of a living person. Shrouds is not of a living person, but Magen Avraham did not accept this. He insisted that according to the Rambam, you should actually put it on. So many Achorim concurred with this, making the Mishabura's ruling absolutely clear. Sephardi Jews over may follow the opinion of Maran, especially so since there's a safek spekat to be lenient. Maybe the halacha is like the Rosh, and if it's not, the opinion of the Rambam is correct, and therefore just you could attach a tzitziot, but just without any beracha. Okay. Next halacha, moded beged. If you're going to buy a clothing in the store, right? So now you want to check if it's actually a good size. You're allowed to put it on, right? Mutar la'asot ken, even though it does not have the four corners. Meaning right now, en lo tzitziot, but mutar limdod et ze alecha, even though it does not have the thing. So he says it is evident that if someone wishes to try on a talit in a store before purchasing it, right, he may do so even though there's no tzitzit. So by the way, this happens nowadays. Nowadays, okay, it's much less nowadays, because nowadays the majority of the talitot already come with the tzitziot attached. But I remember in my days, you used to buy the talit by itself, and then the majority were like that. The majority were the talit was done by itself, and then they used to come and then they used to make the tzitziot. I remember, yeah, for sure. When I was younger, I remember. I that's how I learned to do the tzitziot, because the majority of the majority were done like that. Nowadays, the opposite. Nowadays, for you to find a talit without tzitziot is hard. You understand? But in the olden days, it was opposite. You had to do. Do you know here, in Torah Treasures, he used to do it all the time. What's his name?
Where?
Yaakov. In Torah Treasures on 41st Street. Why? Because the majority of the talitot were coming with. I'm not talking about tzitziot, the talitot. Right? They were done without. And yet they come. And used to actually do it. And the same with tzitziot, and the same with everything. Now you have to buy separately. It's like mamash like a difficult task to find. So he comes and he says like this. He says, since he has not yet purchased a talis, it's a borrowed garment. So therefore, it's going to be exempt. If he's already paid for it, and now then it's still possible that it could be permissible, right? The Rambam ruled that if someone has a business selling garments that are made of shatnez, he may drape them over his back, right, as he makes his rounds peddling the garments. Maran explained in the Yoredea, he said that it's permissible as long as he does not dress himself with the garments. The Rishon and Tzion said a proof to this interpretation from Rabbi Avram and Rambam. According to Tosfot and Ramah, however, it's permissible for the peddler to actually wear the garments. The Chochmat Adam, after bringing down the Ramah's lenient ruling, but that even the Ramah would agree that it's going to be forbidden for on a garment made out of shatnez for size to actually wear it. According to this, if someone owns a talit without tzitzit, it should be forbidden for him to try it on for size. It's certainly true according to the Rambam, since he said you're not allowed to wear a forbidden garment, right, in the normal fashion of being worn. Meaning, זאת אומרת ככה, בוא נגיד אתה קונה חליפה, and it has shatnez. I cannot wear it even to try it on. It's a problem. So that's what we're saying. We're saying here it's very, very important. As long as you didn't buy it, for sure you could try it, because it's borrowed. Right? That's what we're saying. You go to the store, אתה הולך לחנות, אתה שם את זה, and אתה הלווית את זה, זה לא שלך עדיין. But once you buy it, it could be a problem. So he comes and he says, Dod Yosef Chai and the Rav Zalman rule that it's permissible to demonstrate how to put on a talit with one that has no tzitzit on it, since one is not putting it on in order to wear it. Likewise, a storekeeper can put on a talit to show his potential customers how it looks when it's worn. So apparently this is permitted since the person putting on the talit has no intention of wearing it at all. And he's just putting it that way to just see how it looks. Okay, of course, it's going to be permissible for a potential customer to try a talit in a store before purchasing it, since the talit is not his is not his, and therefore, again, it's going to be exempt. Okay? And then the next halacha says, likewise, it's going to be permissible for someone to put on a talit without tzitzit if his entire intention is to just teach other people how to put it on, right? Even though it's without the tzitziot at all. He could still use it to teach other people to put it on. If the talit has a tzitzit attached to it and he wants to put it on just in order to teach others, he does not say a bracha, obviously. It's a sur to make a bracha. Because you're not putting on the talit, you're just showing somebody how to put on talit, so it's a sur to make a bracha. Okay, last halacha. Okay, last halacha, dalid. Im lovesh dalid kanfol la'avir bazet hameches, אפשר שחייב בציצית כמו גבי כליים. יש שפותרים. There's going to be a machloket. What happens if you're putting on the thing, להבריח את המכס? Meaning you're going to come and you're going to put on 3 talitot or I don't know what, and they don't actually have tzitziot. Now, why are you doing it? You're not doing it to wear the tzitzit. You're doing it just להבריח את המכס. Customs. You don't want to pay customs. So you're putting on 3 things in order not to pay customs. So therefore it's going to be permitted. That's what we just said here. Some people say you're going to be chayav in the tzitzit, and some people say you're going to be patur. He doesn't actually say how you're paskening. He just says there's 2 different shitot. And some people say patur, some people say he's going to be